Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you can hear some heat in my voice, I just got done doing a test for a biology class and I failed the damn test. I failed the last two tests, which means I now have an F in that class. So I'm a little hot. So I said, you know what, let me get on here and do a review of the latest movie that I've seen. So this one is called Cards and Cognac. And just from seeing the poster on Tubi when you're flipping through, right? I said this poster looks different. It's giving me some uniqueness, right? So when I was watching it and I heard someone mention Cordova, because I know the accents were southern. I heard somebody mention Cordova. I was like, Cordova? Oh, this takes place in Memphis, because that's close to Cordova. And then, lo and behold, my mom's friend's daughter, who's an actress, she does a lot of acting in Tennessee, Memphis, West Memphis, Arkansas area. She's in the movie too. So I was like, okay. And most of the movies that are uploaded to Tubi that are independent take place in Detroit, right? And so you're used to that Detroit culture, swag, the energy. And while watching Cards and Cognac, I could feel the southernness in it. And I said, since that's what I'm used to, it was comforting. You know what I'm saying? It was like I could definitely tell this took place in a different area. So it's filmed in Tennessee. So a little background, Cards and Cognac, a group of friends meet up. One of their homeboys actually committed suicide. He was having an illness and he just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I believe cancer that he had come back. And so he committed suicide. So while playing cards and having a sip or two, they're pretty much just talking about just getting things off their chest, right? Um, and I feel like this movie it gets you into it's insightful, I think, on things that men I'm gonna say black men because they're all black go through. And when I say go through, I mean just like we could get some different perspectives, right? Because a lot of times we spend time on social media and we see these posts where people really are just putting up this crazy shit just so they can get a rise out of people, and it's got this man versus woman thing going on and all like that. And so each guy was basically, some of it was confession, some of it was I just need to get this off my chest, venting. The first guy was basically, he had cheated on his wife multiple times, and when he stumbled upon her cheating and got his ass whooped by the side dude, it just made him. I guess it's like you make your bed, you gotta lie in it. And he felt that hurt, like he actually was hurt, even though he had cheated on her multiple times. One guy, his was a little funny. He basically told in his story that he straight up told the cops about his friend, and because basically they had got the police picked him up. He didn't waste no time throwing his friend under the bus because his friend was the one that was involved in the crime. So I guess his was guilt. And then there's one guy, and this is my mom's friend's daughter who played the ex-wife. he's having issues with his ex-wife. She's pretty much using the child against him. He barely touched her because she was trying to get something from his hand. Next thing you know, she's calling the cops saying he put his hands on me. So he's very frustrated with her. And the other guy was basically talking about his father. His father passed, and um, I feel like his was insightful because he was just basically talking about, a lot of times men will talk about how they feel like it's such this burden to be the provider, kind of carrying that, um, not showing emotion because it makes you look weak. Even though I'm glad we are getting to a point in society where men can show emotion besides anger, because, and I'm gonna come back to the movie, going off just for a little bit on another subject. Um, like for instance, my father's 66 years old. When he was coming up, all that showing your emotions as a man, especially as a black man, because back then, see, my father remembers segregation and remembers integration. Okay, you know how they make it seem like it's so long ago. So I feel like as a black man, you really probably didn't have that option to be all crying and stuff, because it's like, shit, you got to deal with racism, you got to deal with all this stuff. So when he was coming up, the only emotion men could really show besides happiness was anger. So when my father, even to this day, when he's hurt by something, it comes out as anger. And that's how men express I'm hurt, is anger. So, but I'm glad that we're getting out of that crap and that men can express themselves like, look, man, if you hurt and you feel like shedding some tears, that doesn't make you soft. If anything, that makes you more of a man because you're not afraid to express yourself and worrying about what other people think. So when that guy was talking about his father, of course, his father was an older, like elderly man, probably even older than my dad, or maybe in the same age bracket. So he carried that burden of, not being able to express himself and things like that. Now, child support was mentioned a few times in this. I'm going to say this, though. That's child support is for the non-custodial parent to pay. That's not something that's targeted towards men. It's just that in most cases, women have the main custody or the custodial parents. So I want men to quit acting like that's something targeting men. If you're a man and you have full or whatever custodial, you're the custodial parent, then your ex-wife or your child's mother will be the one paying child support. So that's just, we got to cut that out. All right. Also, I feel like, yeah, you're paying some a month, right? But at the end of the day, you don't have to deal with the everyday nuances of being a parent. Like, when the child gets sick at school, they're gonna call the mom first before anybody, right? So it's like, look, help your ex-wife or your child's mother out, giving her a few dollars every week, to help curb some of that uh burden of having to, wake up, you know, get the child ready for school, however old the child is. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and if y'all get down in my comments trying to fight me over that, I'm not even going to respond. Okay. But yeah, it's amazing getting back to this movie how um I felt the difference, the vibe, the southernness. It was a little bit more calmer. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, I've never been to Detroit, but movies from the actors, actresses that are from Detroit, they have a very kind of more street hood feel to it, even if the movie is not a quote unquote hood movie. I can just tell the difference between Detroit actors and actresses and Tennessee actors and actresses. You feel me? Um, Now you can look at that in different ways because when you're watching a movie, you're really not supposed to, in my opinion, um, know kind of tell where the actors and actresses are from based on like the quote unquote vibe, right? But I think maybe it was written like that. That the director, the writer of Cards and Cognac is from Tennessee, and maybe he wanted the movie to feel um, down home and everything. And I also want to say this. It was pleasant seeing a movie that takes place in Memphis or at least surrounding Memphis. I think they were in Jackson for part of the movie, which is, I think, probably like an hour from Memphis. Like if you're coming from Nashville, once you hit Jackson, you know you're close to Memphis, right? Like I said, it's about an hour away. But I like the fact that took place there because people who are not from Memphis, never been, seem to fall for this propaganda that it's just this damn war zone and you can't step out the door without getting shot at. Like, okay, does Memphis have some impoverished areas? Yes. Most big cities do. Okay, just like there's impoverished parts in Memphis, there's also extremely rich parts. Um, I'm not sure how the middle class is in Memphis. Maybe it's just like the rest of America and it's shrinking, shrinking. You know what I'm saying? Getting smaller due to the bad economy. But yes, Memphis is not all guns and gangs. Okay, it's actually I lived there for a little bit. I actually feel more at home in Memphis than in Nashville, believe it or not. So yeah, I'm glad that they showed Memphis in a nice light. All right, very happy about that. Shout out to my subbies. Shout out to the rest of you as well who are not subscribed, but you know you can by hitting that button for me. I very much appreciate it. Peace and blessings to every last one of you watching. Until next time, y'all.